up, folks? First off, thank you if you had a say in prompting. I'm not gonna say the creation, but the timing of this video. I put it out there in a YouTube post as promised that I would get your 2 cents on videos, and you folks wanted this one next, so here it is. This is the Roundsman by M Squared, which right out of the gate, they're calling the world's best chef bag, and with a title like that, I had to see how it actually performed. I actually requested to check this out months ago. They were out of stock, so with a new shipment coming through, they were awesome enough to send one along for review, so thank you. No, they did not pay me to say anything good or bad, but let's get into the features. On the material side, we've got a few types going on here. On the outside, we've got a heavy-duty ballistic nylon and a bunch of leather or faux leather accents either around where the zippers are or pulls on the zippers themselves, and then the M Squared logo right on the front here. The zippers don't have any sort of branding on them, so just be cautious of that. I haven't personally had any issues so far, but I would feel better if I saw something like YKK on the zippers, you know? Flipping it around to the backside, more of those leather accents. There's this handle on top of the bag that also leads into this really sturdy attachment for the strap. Now, initially when I saw this bag, I actually thought it was a backpack, and I was incredibly stoked to find out it was actually a sling style bag. So we've got this airline seatbelt material here that leads into the metal attachment on the bottom that can be switched to either side by this spring-loaded thingy that you've probably used on your dog's leash. That's kind of the best way I can describe it. I'm not sure it needs to be that easy to switch back and forth, but it certainly made a great experience when it came out of the box, because for me, it came out the opposite of how I wanted to wear it, so I made that switch right away. I'm gonna give you a quick peek inside to check out the materials there, and then we will get into the features. Inside, the tag of the bag says that it is also made out of nylon, although not nearly as sturdy as the nylon on the outside, which is fine. This won't really have to deal with all the elements on your commute, so no stress. There's this really fine mesh pocket here that makes up this pocket. It's secured with another zipper that seems kind of flimsy to me, but again, no problems yet. All the pockets here have the elastic sewn into them, and there's also a few areas here on the top that have some elastic, but more on that in a second. It's a great addition, but I've got a few issues with it that I want to talk about when we get to the features. As far as a backstory on the Roundsman, M Squared is owned by 2 Michaels, hence M Squared. One has a background in design, one is a chef, and they sought to eliminate roles and cases. This bag is like, down with the cool kids, yo. It's supposed to be more modern. It's not super utilitarian. It's not Kenneth Cole. It's kind of like somewhere in the middle, right? They source these from China, so take that into account, especially with some of the materials. But let's get into the features and why I think this might actually be a great bag for a few of you. All right, I went ahead and loaded it up with a few things that I thought would test this bag's features out. Inside this front kind of quick access pocket, I've got things like a Sharpie, a pen, a quick notebook. Maybe this is the one that you keep in the back pocket of your pants or in the chest pocket of your chef coat or somewhere in your apron. This is kind of the stuff that you reach for when you first start your shift kind of thing. There's also a bench scraper inside here because sometimes the corners of it like to get stuck on the mesh components of certain bags, so I like to keep this up front. I got a couple business cards in here as well as like a granola or protein bar. Flipping it around here real swift, oh man, you didn't even notice. There's a secret back pocket to this bag. Inside of this back pocket, I am able to fit my 9.7-inch iPad Pro. I think this should be able to fit the 10.5, maybe the 11-inch, but I cannot fit my 13-inch MacBook Pro inside of here. Couple of issues I have with this pocket though. Yes, there is the nice piece of ballistic nylon here as kind of a flap to kind of help with a little bit of weather resistance, but the zippers themselves are not weather sealed, so keep that in mind, especially if you live in a rainy place like I do. It's also not lined with anything, so no suede, no fur, no felt. It's basically the same nylon that your knives are gonna be pressed up against is what's inside this pocket here, which isn't completely a deal breaker. I don't necessarily feel like all my tech has to be like tucked in like a little tiny baby. It's just coming from a couple of other bags that I own that are also intentionally designed to fit your tech inside of them. This feels like a little bit of a downgrade. And like I mentioned, there is that padding on the back side of the bag, but between your back and the tech that you're gonna probably store inside of this, there is no padding. The thing that is nice though is that the pocket stitching ends just like right here. So whatever tech you have stored inside is lifted up off the bottom of the bag. So when you go to set this down, you don't have to worry about any sort of impact that your tech will have with the ground. Again, I love the fact that these guys are thinking about being a little bit more modern, being cognizant of the fact that a lot of people go to work with their iPad or like to keep their smaller laptops or tablets inside of their bag when they go to work. I mean, I bought an iPad when I was a sous chef because I loved the fact that I could do all my ordering on it and do a ton of my communications, recipe documentation on it. A ton of people people also probably use the Apple Pencil, where they're either drawing up new ways of plating or coming up with new combinations and drawing them out by hand. And then you can send them digitally off to your team, and I think it's amazing that people are trying to fuse technology in with cooking. I totally think it's the future, but I'm being critical of a lot of these features because there's a lot of options in the kind of tech carry / commuter bag space that may or may not take a little bit better care of your technology, but also have a couple of other features that you need. Like, where am I gonna put the charging cord for my iPad in here? You know what I mean? It's not to say that I don't trust this bag to protect my kitchen gear, but I'm way more likely to beat up my knives and my spatulas rather than my iPad and my camera. Feel me? Zipping open the bag, you will find this mesh pocket. Inside of it, I've got a couple of different sizes of spoons, of course a cake tester, a pair of tweezers, small pipette, and a peeler. I was so worried when I initially saw this bag that they were gonna leave us tiny tool using folks out in the cold, but with this pocket, it's great for small items. Inside this first front elastic panel, I've got longer tools. So I've got a mat for here, some of my longer knives, as well as a honing rod. This is the only area of the bag that has that elastic on the top area, so it really take advantage of it and make sure that you're using this to store your longer items, where securing it in 2 places is gonna help with your carry. Flipping it back over to that mesh pocket side, if you open it like a book here, you'll see that I have a couple of other items stored on the other side. So this is other sharper tools that work great with those small elastic pockets, maybe some larger spoons that don't fit quite right, because they can still stay neat and organized. They keep the weight on the bottom of the bag when I'm carrying it, but they also aren't totally in the way or taking up too much space in that bulge of a mesh pocket up front. All right, now that you've seen this thing fully loaded, what is it like to use? Carrying it is amazing. Yes, I wish there was a little more padding on the shoulder strap itself, that little airline seatbelt material, but because it's so wide and you have this little bit of bracing here with the leather bit, as long as you've got it adjusted to your height, you're gonna be fine. And it also provides a hands-free option that I was missing with bags like the Mies and the Track drum roll. Touching on this handle on the top real quick, I'm 5'10", and I really love the fact that I can carry this around without it hitting the ground. And for a vertically oriented bag, if you're getting in and out of subway trains or you almost missed your stop on the bus and you gotta like grab your bag and run, this is a really, really solid detail. I was actually really wanting to talk smack on the wide profile of this bag when I first saw it in promotional videos. They show it like all spread eagle all over the countertop, which is great for showing like, yeah, this bag can hold a lot of shit, but in practical use, I found myself using this bag as like, you zip it open, there's your frequently used items, and then tucked away in the back, out of sight, out of mind, was like my lesser used but still wanted to have items like specialty butchery knives, that one spatula that you use for tweels 3 times a week, and then everything else that you use to set up on a daily basis goes right up here, which opens really nicely clamshell style, and then boom, you've got what you need. As per usual, the $99 question, who is this for and should you buy it? Yes, if you missed that reference, this bag does retail for $99, but when I did a test checkout on their site, it actually charged me $0 for shipping, $0 for tax, so apparently what you see is what you get with that price tag. No complaints there from me. As per usual, if there's a discount code I'm able to give you folks, that will be down low in the description. If you commute to work through public transportation, through these areas that benefit from you actually being hands-free, if you like keeping notebooks, iPads, magazines with you, or even if you just like the look of this bag, I think it's a great choice. If you travel with a ton of long chef gear, think 8-inch plus chef knives, industrial size rubber spatulas, 300mm plus slicing knives, those really unnecessarily long F-dick honing rods, this bag certainly has you covered. It is comfortably 16 inches from the bottom of the pocket to where I can reasonably see you fitting something inside. If you really travel with a ton of gear, I can actually see this bag getting a little janky if you're trying to fit like multiple spoons in one elastic pocket, or if you see yourself expanding outside of the mesh pocket inside with smaller tools, you're probably better off getting a bag that can accommodate things like that, because I see once it falls out of those elastic pockets, it's really gonna rattle around and make a ton of noise. So there's nothing worse than getting to work and feeling like your first project is cleaning something up. Yes, it sounds like a criticism, and I also understand that comes with the territory of this being not a tightly rolled knife roll. Overall, for me, this definitely gets so much closer to that ideal knife bag. And no, I don't think this is it yet. I don't agree that it's the best chef knife bag in the world or whatever they say, but it has enough compelling features for me at least to recommend it, at least for those of you that are like, hey, I actually carry stuff like that, and this would fit exactly what I need. I just wish the materials were better, and the word that keeps coming to mind when I look at this bag, when I want to talk about this bag, is is quality. I wish the quality was just like marginally better, right? Like I love some of the accents. I wish this was a little bit beefier. I think the thoughtful design is there. I think the way that they want you to carry it is there. I wish that there was kind of like another grab handle maybe on this side or on this side. That would be great. I wish that some of the hardware felt a little sturdier. And again, it's not like I had anything break on me while I was using this bag. Nothing went wrong. It's just that when I'm putting some of my tools in here, I'm putting stuff that's 4, 5, 6x the price of the bag inside of this bag. And it's not even flimsy at all. It's just like I would feel a little bit better if there was a little bit better materials on the inside, if the hardware was upgraded in some capacity, if the zippers had some sort of weather sealing, especially if you're gonna ask me to take this to and from work. Because like I said, yes, some of the features are nice, but they don't compete with some other bags that I have that do the same thing. Although at $99, I can totally understand, and that should be taken into account when I'm giving all these criticisms. This is a $99 bag, that's super affordable. Do you have any thoughts on the Roundsman by M Squared? Do you have one of your own and you want to share your own thoughts? Please leave any questions or comments down low. I'm always happy to answer any questions if you have any. This bag is also linked up down low in the description if you want to check it out. Want to also give a very special thank you shout out to everybody that's supporting on Patreon. You truly make the every single week content possible. More info about that is linked up here, somewhere around here. If you want to learn more about that, thank you so much for your attention. As always, my name is Justin Khanna, and I hope you have a good one.